I play Saturday morning. I had a rehearsal for a session next week, Saturday night, and then I played yesterday morning. So it was,
Yeah.
good
How
to
are you
be
here, man?
good. Good to have a power weekend after a while.
I'd be exhausted. That was me I think last week. I was so
I mean,
tired.
none of them were super stressful. Two of them were, coffee house jazz gigs, Saturday and Sunday morning. The only real burner I had was Friday night. But still, it's especially like playing jazz as a sax player, like when you're the only and you're in the whole time. That's a rough gig. That's 2.5 hours of consistent playing,
Man,
on the face.
wow.
Playing on your face. I like that.
I hear it's
And
I hear it's not the horn players, it's the upright bass players. Those are the ones that have hardest on those jazz gigs.
Yeah, they don't get a break, like legit. They don't get a break.
I do not envy them, man.
Yeah, they're always asking, is it another bass player in the house? Is there another bass player? If not, we're gonna take a break and then.
Yeah. Hey, is all the jazz clubs are open in New York?
Pretty much actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a lot of the jam sessions that straight ahead jam sessions are coming back up.
Cool.
Really cool stuff.
I think I'm for sure out there middle of August.
Yeah.
For 4 days or so, and but I don't know how much I'll be able to get out, and especially late at night.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
might
man.
do the early ones.
Yeah, man. Smalls is back. They got an
I
audience.
definitely want to go to Smalls at least one night, and but I think I'm also staying in Brooklyn though, so I don't know.
Oh,
if
cool.
it's a problem.
There's a few spots in Brooklyn that have jam sessions also, but they usually do it on Sundays.
Okay, I won't.
I don't know.
So yeah, I would like to check out one in Brooklyn though. That's cool.
Yeah.
That seems like a way hipper. Like, I mean, the Village is pretty hipsterish, but like,
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Well, I have a cousin in the Village, and I'm wondering if you want to meet up and go to Smalls or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Brooklyn has some it has more like some avant-garde jazz stuff.
Yeah.
Little
Okay.
open spots, which is really cool stuff. Dan Wise plays there a lot.
Oh, I would love to see that. Yeah.
And that area.
Okay, so man, I'm gonna be hitting you up when, like, hey man, where's this spot at? Like,
Yeah,
if you want to roll? Like, let's go.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm not working by that time.
Well, I won't be. I'll probably be able to pop in and then have to dip out though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty, like, tied.
Yeah,
down.
you're doing our rehearsals, right?
Yeah. I haven't gotten a rehearsal schedule yet, so I'm like, I don't know if they're like a late in the day into late night, or if they're like, let's get started at like 10 or 11 and run through the day,
Is it for a tour or a recording?
Yeah, the tour starts the week after.
Oh, okay, cool. And you guys are did you know where you're rehearsing or?
I don't know. They asked they said they have a spot in Brooklyn somewhere, and so I haven't gotten that. The only thing I got is just flight confirmations.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Some rehearsal spots in Brooklyn are hit or miss, or maybe they have their own place.
Yeah, I think they're I know it's going to be like a lockdown because they're
Okay.
getting my drums and everything like shipped out from
Got it.
Maple and
Oh, awesome.
for all that information. So
Nice.
it'll be all locked out, and I won't have to rehearse at, like, I don't know. We have some janky spots out here too, where it's like you bring your cymbals and there's just like, oh no, man, this is.
No, we got some there's a place called Sweatshop that a lot of indie bands use and everybody uses, punk bands. And it's a sweatshop, man. It's horrible. It's cheap, but it's
Why
horrible.
would you even call it that? That's like makes me not want to go to a place like that.
It might have been in I think it was a warehouse beforehand, so it might have been a sweatshop before.
Okay.
Like old school. There's another spot that I frequent to. It's called Pumps.
Okay.
It's in Brooklyn, but it's above a strip club, so it's pretty funny. The strip club is called Pumps, so I don't know if they're actually the same owner, but it's pretty funny.
I wonder if they get a discount on bands.
Yeah, I don't know.
My dream is to like change that, man. Like, cause out in LA, there's that. What's that spot that's like a big? It's like everybody rehearses there. Everybody's rehearsed there or recorded there at some point. And
Are you
every-
talking about
Valley? Amp or
Amp?
I think so. Where it's like
Because Amp is now a coffee shop.
really.
Yep.
Over the course of the pandemic, they have converted into a coffee shop. It is now Amp Coffee.
$5 cup of coffee.
Wait, what's the place
And
though
you-
that's like everyone has lockout rooms and it's like a huge like it looked like it was like a
Bedrock.
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 That place.
Yeah, but Band I used to play with had a lockout in Bedrock.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like a maze in there. It's like you feel
Yeah.
like a rat in a maze just wandering around.
Every room looks exactly the same. Like it's just door. It looks like a prison or something. And it's just, I mean, there's like how many? I mean, there's probably 500 lockouts there or something. There's like so many.
Something like that. They got 2 floors and
Yeah.
it's wild.
There's like no organization either. It's just like you just walk in and like you have your key or whatever. I've recorded there. I've like rehearsed there. Like over the years, it's like one of the places you go to in LA. And then there's a place in North Hollywood or I forget what that place is called too. But that's a place I always rehearse there.
If it's in North Hollywood, it was probably Amp. It was on like
Yeah.
Lancashire. I don't know how familiar you are with the streets in LA.
I used to be a lot more. I don't think it was. It was like in a neighborhood. Like,
Oh,
so I would if I was coming from here, I'd take the 5 all the way to the 2, and then exit like right away in North Hollywood. I don't think it was on Lancashire though, and it was
Okay.
like it's.
I don't know if I've been there.
Maybe it's not in North Hollywood. Maybe it's like I'm pretty sure it is in North Hollywood though. But anyways, yeah, I forget what that place. That place sounds like it would be called Bedrock, but maybe it's thinking of somewhere else. Anyways, we have a lot of those kind of places. We have one in San Diego, I think, that I know of. But man, anyways, what I was saying is, me and my friends are trying to create. We're a long way off, but like a WeWork. Have you guys ever been to WeWork? It's like a co-working.
Seen 'em.
Yeah, a WeWork, but for musicians. So it's like clean, and there's coffee, and there's like open spaces and common areas where musicians can vibe and hang out and jam and shed and yeah. So.
There needs to be a minimum requirement for musicians. There needs to be a threshold. You need to audition.
Yeah. Well, I think a place like that, because WeWork probably does the same thing. Like people just wanting to mooch, but like it kind of weeds out those kind of. Like, I think at first you get those guys, but they're like, no, this is my vibe. I want a dingy strip club at the bottom, like smelly.
I'm at Uncle tonight. Uncle's a dive. That place sucks.
Ooh, that is a dive, man.
Yeah.
I've definitely been to Uncle.
I've never heard of that. Is that a place to play or is it a rehearsal spot?
Yeah, it's a rehearsal,
It's a rehearsal
spot.
space.
But
And
the
it
big
just looks
room
like
is
somebody's
20.
garage.
Yep, it is. But the big room is 25 an hour, and they have an airport or an airplane hangar fan in it, so at least you get a lot of air movement.
None of them are really good though. They're what? Okay, you know that band. Oh gosh, I cannot think. What's the spot that has like the Monday night jams in LA? And it's like everybody, or maybe it's Wednesday night jams, and everybody goes and like it's not jazz necessarily though. It's like but oh God, man, I can't think of any of the guys in LA anymore. Oh, never mind. I can't think. But anyways, there's another spot in North Hollywood that I would rehearse at, and it was kind of the same. It was like one of the nicer spots. Hard to find parking though, and then it was like across the street is a movie theater, and then like a block away is that club that I'm talking about. That like you'd finish a rehearsal and then go to that.
Oh, the
jam.
Federal. That's the spot.
The Federal. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. I just saw a friend play there on Thursday.
Yeah. I used to like that place, but that rehearsal spot's still kind of a dive, man. They all are like the same. The drums are all stripped out and like, you know. So I forgot my iPad.
The one near the Federal, that's Amp.
Oh, that's Amped. Okay, so that's now a coffee shop.
That's Amp.
But
that's
it's still a rehearsal studio, but it has coffee in it. Yeah.
Okay, so they're trying to do that.
Oh, it's also. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the spots I walked in, and I was like looking for. I have my cymbal bag, and I have my snare, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be in a room with like for so and so whatever band, and I'm like, I'm like always trying to be very nice, but it's like this is where I get the jaded LA vibe, where I'm like they're just like looking at me like, so like I feel like I'm on an audition, like, okay. Like, so what, like, who are you? Like, I'm like, oh my God, dude, can you just tell me what room I'm in? Like, this is so much, like, we don't ever deal with this kind of stuff, like that attitude in San Diego. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab my iPad so we can get started.
Sam, are you a regular jam session goer in town?
Not as much as I used to be. When I was a kid, when I was like 14, I was just starting to play. There was a spot right by my house. Had you ever been to Cozy's on Ventura Boulevard?
Yeah, I remember. I miss Cozy's. Yeah.
Cozy's was like our home club. Like it was Cozy's and Cafe Cordial.
Sure. Yep.
Were like the two spots that I would go, and they were like blues jams. And so like when I was a kid, I'd do a lot of blues jams. And then when I got it to the point where I was playing jazz, I wasn't competitive. My vibe. I was more of a rehearsal band guy as opposed to a jam session guy. That was where I worked my chops.
You did the local 47 rehearsal band stuff?
Yeah. Oh, I back before it shut.
Do you know Sam, do you know Danny Janklow?
Not by name, no. What does he play?
He's a sax player in LA. He's a really good sax player. Really like.
What kind of stuff does he do? All over the place?
All jazz. Like he's like dove head first into jazz and like.
Sure.
Released a couple albums. He's younger though. He's a younger dude. Like he's probably like, I would say he's probably like, like in his 20s still, like maybe 28, 29, maybe 30.
Right.
And but he's really like a gifted player, really amazing.
Yeah, man, you run into some phenomenal cats in town.
Yeah. Okay, why can't I find? Oh yeah, there we go.
Are there any jam sessions starting up again that you've heard of now, Sam? That are worth checking out? Is the Federal back or?
I'm keeping my ears open. Not that I've heard of, but I'm keeping my ears open. I'm ready to go out and play.
I'm sure there's some secret ones in LA that like, depending on who you know, but I haven't heard of anything. Like I don't really hear too much of LA stuff, but like I haven't even heard like Jam Card coming back yet, or like I don't know, like like you said, the Federal.
A lot of those Jam Card cats that go back and forth in New York, they're New Blue. I don't know if you know of a club out here called New Blue. No. They used to do like a Monday night hip hop-ish kind of jam, really cool stuff for like freestyle rappers, and on Wednesday they do like producers come. So they started that back up, and Darryl Jones, Justin Brown, Justin Ty, all these cats are out there again. Yeah, it's killer, man.
I keep wanting to start a jam in San Diego like that. I at first I wanted to start like a jazz jam, but none of the drummers would show up. But the thing is, there's a few drummers out here that are like decent players, but we could start our own thing, our own community. but it's and everything's fully opened up. I should do that, but it's a lot of the like it's what I always talk about, like where a lot of the drummers out here in San Diego are, or dudes that will come down, are just interested in shedding, and like if you have them sit in with a band, it's like that's not what they're about. They're just
that's the problem. Yeah,
and they're like vocal about it. Like if you don't let me play like me, then I don't want to play with you. You know, and it's just like, dude, okay, like you're not about making music. And then there are like the main dude, like there's a few main dudes in San Diego, like Kevin Iguchi, who came here and he did Chops and Coffee once, and me, and like there's a few other dudes out here that are known in San Diego, but like our main dude is Fig Newton, Tim Fig, but like I don't know what happened to that dude. Nobody knows. Like not even his mom and dad know where he's at, dude. He's like, I don't know if he like joined a cult or like has a drug problem or not. I don't want to like say that on. I shouldn't say that while we're streaming live, but it's seriously like it's become a thing where it's like no one knows what happened to Fig, and he was like one of the best drummers I've ever heard. You know,
it's that's a weird thing in itself. Visibility in pretty much when you're an artist or things like that. It's like if you don't put something out, like you drop off the face of the earth, and like it's so weird.
It's deeper with him. I think it's he's like he deliberately like. He's not on social media. No one's seen him around town. Like the only thing that they've seen him is at the local drum shop, like selling his drums. So, and like if you guys, I mean, he's a pretty well known name. Like if you guys haven't seen him, he's phenomenal. Like
I heard your podcast with him. Yeah,
he's one of the greatest, man. Like he is insane on drums, and like. Yeah, he's had a couple of those like gospel chop videos out that like he wasn't like, that's a whole nother story, but his style isn't like gospel chops. It's like just pristine, precise, perfect hands, like crazy combos. Like this dude is incredible on drums. And so yeah, man, it's really crazy. It's a sad situation because no one knows if he's okay. No one knows if he's alive. Like it's really weird, man. So anyways, but that might be something. Like San Diego has a really great music scene, but it's and all the musicians are tight. Everybody knows each other, and there's like
I don't know. Have you heard of a thing? I think they're doing it in LA now, but it started out here in New York. It's called The Lesson GK.
No.
I don't know. There's a drummer named Lenny Reese. They call him the Ox. He's in the vein of, I don't want to say he's in the vein of Chris Dave, but he's in the vein of that kind of music. Kind of like that, but more really hip hop. He plays with DJ Premier a lot.
Okay.
They used to do a thing out here at Arlene's Groceries. It's famous for Arlene's Groceries, famous for like the Strokes came out of there and stuff like that. Okay. But Wednesday nights they would have this jam session called The Lesson, and it was but their thing is kind of like what you're thinking about. It wasn't just drummers or musicians. They had rappers, they had tap dancers, they had beatboxers, really cool stuff. But then what the band brought when the musicians came in and stuff like that was half of the energy. The other half of the energy was the crowd, the audience.
Yeah,
like they went nuts and participated so crazy. So it's kind of like what you're doing. They weren't there for the chops. It was
right,
but it was all purely improvisational. But it's like it was a pure jam. A lot of hip hop, a lot of feature based kind of things, a lot of electronic. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it's
young jazz cats, but they're forging their own way. But it was one of the best jams out there.
That's what I would like to do, like something that is like where like the band, a lot of the guys I know out here can play a lot of different stuff, and I would like it to where it's like, man, you can, let's let these young cats like be free and do what they want to do, and like, but first of all, it's finding a place where like a lot of these places. It's like, okay, Tuesday night is jazz night, Wednesday, like there's different nights here. So like, I don't know if there was a jam at this place called Rosie's, which was straight ahead jazz on Mondays. That was one of the best ones to go to. And then Tuesday was a Latin jam. Nice. And that was at a different spot in San Diego. And then Wednesday was at a different place in Balboa Park. And like it was another jazz jam. Thursday was like there was an R&B jam somewhere downtown. Like it's like different nights, but it's like so strict,
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept saying, hey, let's do a jam like for the musicians, you know, like drummers. Let's do, it was like kind of like the Federal, where the Federal has like 2 drum sets set up, and doing something like that. And I was trying to do that with Fig, and Fig was like, nah, man. Like he was just like, I was like, he's like, no one will come. And I'm like, why? That's negative, dude. Like you gotta, if we start it, you know, for all the musicians to hang, we're already doing that, you know, and then have other guys that'll bring other guys from Orange County and San Diego, LA to come down, especially if you're playing. So,
Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, it's I don't. Maybe it's not as popular as it is, but maybe that's why like in church is still thriving. Because out here, they do a couple church shed sessions
yeah,
that you can go to, but it's because they have the whole space to themselves. They can bring you could put more drums. No one's gonna complain about the drum noise.
right.
That could kind of be it. Like they're probably just scared of it's gonna be too much noise and stuff like that.
Well, we never really did it, but like if we did that, like if I started doing like a drummer based shed or a drummer based jam with musicians and stuff, it's hard to sell that to a restaurant or a bar or something. If like Brian Evans comes down and he's
Drummers and musicians in the same room.
yeah.
Sounds
standing
dangerous.
the whole time and just playing over everyone. It's like just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah.
But we need it here in San Diego.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about these jam sessions, I forgot. There's a jam session. Hopefully it starts back up, but it's oh man, I forgot the name of the band, but they do video game arrangements in the style of either straight ahead jazz or big band. It's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, when you're out here, I'll try to like find it if you can go to it or not.
Okay.
They have a book and everything. They have a book,
Big band.
Mario Level 1, all this stuff, and they have Zelda, Final Fantasy, and they work these arrangements out, and it's so cool. And you can sit in all.
That's Charlie Rosen's 8-bit big band, I think.
It's not the 8-bit big band. It's another one. Forgot.
Oh wow, I didn't know there were more than one. Because
isn't that crazy?
The dude Charlie Rosen, the Broadway dude, the 8-bit big band who's got like the whole orchestral video game album online. I went to high school with that guy. Like he was like that when he was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I bet that band. Yeah, that band probably like shares musicians. I bet. All right, that's it.
Yeah, nice. All right, guys. So everyone's streaming with us. Sorry, a lot of conversation today, but that's how Chops and Coffee is. We love that. So especially when it's a small group like that, like this, I think it's cool, man. Sharing ideas and stories. All right, so warm up number 1, same theme as last week. We're replacing we're putting the kick on the accents. So we have an 8th note accent thing here on the beat, then off the beat. So I was thinking to start, we can do like on each hand, so doubles, so like kind of like just accenting on the beat, then off the beat, and then we can put a kick drum with that. So all right, so we'll stay on one hand for a few minutes, like 2 minutes, and then we'll go to the left hand 2 minutes. All right, everyone cool with that? Let me get my settings here. Where is it? Okay, this. Oh no, yeah, that. Never. Ding, ding. Have you guys heard Monir Hosen? Amazing bass player, man, in LA. Moving slow today, man. Sorry, everyone. All right, finally. We're gonna go up to 110 on this since it's like only 8th notes. All right, here we go. And 1, 2, ready, go. Halfway there. We're going to switch to our left in a minute here. All right, switching to our left. 1, 2, ready, go. Ah. Halfway. Last one. All right. That one seemed a little easy to start, but at least for this group.
I like easy to start.
Yeah.
I like my women. No, just kidding. Oh shoot, we're streaming. Sorry.
Let's do the same thing a little bit faster, but let's do the same thing in unison. So, all right. Let's do it like 125. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. That's cool. Couple more. Last one. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, it's got a Brazilian vibe to it. I like it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah. Shall we try the 16th notes in the same way? Let's try it. I'm gonna back it down though to 90. That's still fast. Let's go to 80. All right. So, doing the same idea, playing our 16th notes in unison, both hands, accenting still with both hands, and playing the kick on the accent. All right. Everybody got it? We're gonna do it as written though, just but playing in both hands in unison. Ooh, already flamming. Okay, let's see here. Let me get a timer. Let's try this. Let's try this for 2 minutes straight. It's gonna be it's gonna feel pretty long, but let's see here. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. That feels a little fast. Ah. Ah. Halfway. Thirty seconds. That's it. Woo! That's a workout.
Yeah, that's the shit. I love the unison stuff.
Oh man, that's a workout. That's crazy, man.
So do you feel any difference from your left to your right? These kind of things are really good for pointing out any kind of asymmetry issues.
Yeah, I'm just really concentrating on making sure I'm not, so, but I definitely feel it in my arms, my wrists a lot more than I would if I was just doing one and a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
Man, that's like really good.
My right hand was still ready to go, and my left is like, oh man, 30 seconds. Come on.
Yeah. I think that's a really good exercise to build up speed, man. That's a really good one. Getting used to using your wrists and your fingers, Wow.
I really want to record myself doing that and watch it, because I noticed at the end, especially towards the end, that my right hand went up a lot higher. So my right hand had to move faster. So I'm on a pad right now, so I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference in dynamic, but I know on a real snare, it would be apparent. So I have to make sure that both my sticks are at the same height the whole time. That's probably my biggest challenge.
It's hard. This would be a hard exercise on a actual snare, as your head would be like, the bounce would be canceling each other out, kind of.
Yep.
But yeah.
Well, you get that weird node rebound kind of.
That's an excuse to buy two of the same snares.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's a good one, man. I want to do that one again. Maybe Wednesday.
That's also a good one. Not thinking about the two snares. If you actually move it around the pad, you still do the same exercises, but you orchestrate the hands still in unison. But snare and tom, and then you move to the other toms, then you move to the cymbals while you're doing it, and noticing if you're flamming or not while you're going around the kit.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know this is lame, but man, this Drumeo pad is pretty fucking cool for that.
I've wanted to use one. I've never been able to use one of those.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's because you really feel the difference in the rebound. Like the top
That's
one bounces
what I'm
back a
saying.
lot more, and then the gray one is pretty dead. Like the stick kind of drops in it. It's cool.
Yeah,
Man,
very
you should
interesting.
do Drumeo, man. They should have you do a session.
I have a meeting with Dump. I forgot we're streaming. I'm not gonna say it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If Drumeo could like set up your camera thing and do all the show the waves and all that stuff, bro, that's like revolutionary.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I just did another one. I'm editing it this week. Maybe maybe I can audition it. It's gonna be like 3 minutes on Friday or something. I'm curious what you guys would think of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that. All right, so continuing on our what do we got here? Hold on. All right, so we've made it to hey, what's going on here? Oh yeah. So we were on 16 notes last week. Let me get rid of this. And then we're on the 2/16 notes, eighth note. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. Uh-oh. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1 EN. Okay, so this one's pretty hard. Should we start with the 16ths again? I'm gonna play it on my actual snare. So let me see. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this. Let's play each one eight times. Yeah, let's play it eight times. Each measure. So we're starting at measure 9 and we're playing it 8 times. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 7, 8. I keep hearing that time go, like I have to really listen to the kick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aha. Oh my gosh. Eight. Man, as soon as I try to talk, dude, as soon as I try to talk, that's cool. I like that. It's an like abnormal thing that people. It's so simple, just playing the kick on the but no one really does that kind of stuff. We lost Sam. I gotta let him back in. Here we go. All right. So this is like, well, oh, there we go. This is caught in the middle where we're playing at the bottom of the page and then the top of the next page. So you guys know.
Does this app or this program have an option for like a continuous scroll? Sometimes you can change it so that it's not pages, it just scrolls down.
Yes, I think it does. Layout? Would that be layout? Paper type, letter, portrait.
I couldn't tell you where it is in this specific app, but a lot of times they like give you the option to either have turning pages or scrolling pages.
I know there's got to be. Let's see. Would it be layout? Let's do 4 bars per. Maybe that'll help. Hey, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that at least helps. Yeah. Okay, so now we're at the bottom line. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Okay, so same thing, 8 times each. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, hey. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we should try doing it drum mantra style, going back and doing 4 of each time, and then going back and doing 2 and then 1 and then 1. Shall we try that? Let's do 4 now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, 4, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2. Here we go. 1, 2. Ah. 2. 2. There's 1. Oh. Again. Ah. Hey, that's pretty good. I have the same feeling of like, oh man, trying to stay engaged and like focus on focusing, you know? Pardon my screw ups though in the middle. That measure 14, oh, it almost gets me every time, man.
I can't see the numbers. Is that the second one?
That's the second measure, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that messes me up. And I think the reason is because I start to play linearly. And so I say, okay, well, I don't need the second 16th on my hi-hat because I'm playing with my foot. So I start going. I start going back to the old rhythm, and I know that I have to go.
Yeah. All right, let's do measure 1, measure 14. Measure 1, measure 14, okay? And then we'll do measure 14, measure 15, measure 14, 15. So measure 1, measure 1, measure 2. Measure 1, measure 2. Like, let's keep repeating that. All right, here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, ready, go. Oh, sorry, let's do 2 times each measure, okay? 2 times. 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah. Feels so weird, man. Oh my gosh. I'm so psyching myself out, man. I'm so in like, it's okay. So this is how I keep feeling it. I keep feeling the snare on the instead, and I keep feeling the kick on the beat. And every time we start playing it, I keep messing it up. It's so weird. I keep switching it to that, and I have to keep listening to the click. That's how I keep wanting to hear it.
That's another Brazilian rhythm, the tambourine part in the right hand. Yeah.
That's why, like all the Brazilian stuff I've been listening to, like a lot of the 70s stuff has that kind of beat, you know, and like I've really like latched onto that. I really love that vibe.
Man, you would probably like this app, this Ibatuke. So it's there are 30 Brazilian grooves, and then you pick one, and they have like the 4 parts. Whoops.
Oh, cool.
And so it's a mixer, so you can lower or raise any of the parts, and you can change the tempo. And so each one has like 4 percussion parts, and so I'll like pick one, and it's really fun to mess around with.
Oh man, I need that.
Would you mind sharing the name of that in the chat later?
Oh, okay, yeah, Ibatuke. Yeah. I'll just share the link on the App Store.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's made by some Brazilian dudes who are legit. There was a friend of mine who told me about it. His friends in Brazil made it, and it's fucking cool. And they keep adding new grooves all the time, and yeah, it's fun to fuck around with.
I need that, man. I'm so into that stuff, and like it's hard for me to like study it because I don't know if I'm doing it. My only saving grace is I have a Brazilian student, and he's coming to me. I'm not Jamaican, but he wants like a lot of like reggae and ska stuff. And then I'm like, hey man, like what about this? And he just laughs. I'm like, like it's not right, you know, it just doesn't have the feel. So
yeah, their 16th notes are tweaked, you know. It's fun to like for a drum set player to get all 4 limbs to kind of sit in that grid
that's been the hardest thing for me, that like that swung that I know I'm not doing that exactly right, but like that kind of vibe with and it, like there's one groove that I was trying to get that was like without flamming though, and like that samba, you know, marching, you know, and doom 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 doom. It's like that's so that groove just feels so great in my bones, you know, and it's like to be able to play it is not be able to play it is so frustrating.
Yeah, man, you would love the app. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Like sometimes it feels like taka-daka, 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 tak, and other grooves feel like taka-daka, taka-daka, taka-daka.
Yeah,
It's like they sort of smash and extend different parts of
yeah,
the beat, and yeah, it's awesome.
yeah, man, it's crazy. Let's do one more. Let's do the 14 or so, measure 2 to measure 3. All right. So now that I've played it the way that I'm hearing it, now let's see if I can do it for real. Let's get these. So
Twice each bar.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Couple more. Oh my gosh. All right. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, man, it's taxing. You don't realize it until you try to talk or until you try to think about something else, and then you're like, man, I'm really like concentrating on this, and it doesn't seem that hard until you try to put your mind on something else, you know.
Yeah, this is really cool. Adding I added a foot open, like a foot splash kind of thing.
Oh
You know,
God.
kind of like a disco on the end of each one.
Oh,
It kind of helps out. Yeah.
yeah, let's see. So like on the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, 1 end, 2 end.
Nice.
Okay, I like that. Ah, man, keeping that consistent's another element. That's cool though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Very nice.
Because now this way you can feel like, oh, now I can put it in a musical context later on, depending.
Yeah, I meant to play it to that song again, but that was like,
Oh yeah.
that was cool. I got to get different versions of that though, so we can.
Yeah.
I got to talk to him about that today.
Yeah.
Getting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where I want to try to do the. I don't want to completely blatantly rip off Rich Stitzel, but I do really like the 8-4-2-1-1 thing. That's really it really helps you to like keep focused on what you're doing, what you're playing.
Yeah.
So
these are really cool. I don't know if you guys play Latin music or anything. I know you talk about a lot of Brazilian stuff, but for like Latin stuff, if you want to get gigs and play drum set for a Latin band,
Mhm.
what we're doing right now is like clutch and key, like freeing the kick drum it will get you more gigs than you would think, man. Because then you're not stuck playing. So you're not stuck playing what the bass part is playing. You know how some people play the songo boom 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom. So you don't. Yeah. So your foot is not stuck playing that thing, because the bass player is gonna. He's like, bro, that's what I'm doing.
right.
So when your kick is free, you can like play around with it, dance around with it,
Oh yeah.
and that doesn't lock the bass player into a big pattern. I learned this from this big cat out here called John Benitez. I took a couple lessons with him. He's a bass player, and he's like, bro, if you want to like get gigs and play music and have people like you, don't play just the straight montuno on the bass drum, because then you're stuck also doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So this what we're doing right now, freeing up the bass drum is really cool.
Oh, okay. So you can move it around the music and accent like horn.
Yeah. Exactly. And it gets funkier if you get into a Cuban salsa or what they call timba. The drummers, man, their bass drum is nowhere near what the bass player is playing. Sometimes they're just everywhere because they're using it for accents,
I
like
see.
kind of like dropping bombs and stuff like that. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that with like I forgot there's this Cuban band that I really like and I can't remember what they're called now, but they have first of all their kick drum sound on this album is amazing, but it's yeah, sometimes it's like completely it's hitting and then sometimes it's just out and you're like what happened to the kick drum? And then it like comes back in the chorus or something you're like, "Whoa, that's dope." And it's not it's like you
Yeah,
said it's not on like every beat or it's not
yeah,
like a consistent pattern.
yeah. Because regular traditional salsa from Puerto Rico, you have the bass player upright play. He's playing the tumbao pattern, so bum 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 dum dum, and throughout the whole song. But in Cuban music, they switch it up a lot. They do different arpeggios, other stuff, and it just moves them. It just drives the music really, really funky.
Dude, like speaking of that, so last July my grandpa died, and my grandpa's from San Juan, and so last like 2 weeks ago, my grandma was like, you know, getting rid of his stuff, and she gave me all of his records, like all of them. And so I inherited like, dude, there's so much good stuff in there, like a bunch of like Fania label and like a bunch. I mean, it's just like there's so much. There's a lot of stuff to sift through. There's a lot of like old timer kind of. I was telling my wife it's kind of like the Johnny Mathis of like Latin records, you know, just like slow ballads, like
Yeah,
arrows and stuff. But there was some like gems in there where I was like, bro, like yeah, and so I'm gonna be getting rid of a bunch of the other like just traditional Spanish stuff.
yeah. You should check those out too, though. If you ever want to gig in New
Yeah,
York or something like that, they do a lot of slow stuff out here.
yeah.
You know, restaurant things like that. It's really cool
I want to
stuff.
go. I want to take another pass through and like, cause I was like strictly looking for like salsa and like boogaloo records,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then he had like a bunch of that stuff, and then but like now I want to take another pass through and like kind of
Yeah.
like I think I'll give this one another chance, you know, like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. And then some of the older songs they get turned into they become standards, but then they get adapted into salsa or something faster. Really cool. So
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. Dude, if there's a Latin club out there, like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know if a California dude should be going to like Harlem or like I don't know the Bronx or whatever. I don't know New York, so I don't know.
you,
Harlem
you,
would be Latin stuff, right?
you'll fit in. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
they have some Latin stuff in Harlem.
okay.
Some yeah, there's a lot of cats I know that play out there. The funny thing is there's a lot of Mexican restaurants out there,
Oh
but
really?
they get salsa bands to go play out there.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's something we have Latin stuff out here, but it's like we're like I'm like 45 minutes from Mexico, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
all the Mexican restaurants in LA seem to have mariachi, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
nothing against mariachi, but
Well,
two
no, we
songs.
have Latin. There's a couple of like my buddies out here, like you know, Mexican dudes that get down on like real traditional salsa and stuff. But like, man,
Yeah.
there's nothing like doing it in New York, you know.
That it's big out here, man. And there's some heavy cats out here, man.
Oh man,
Heavy
Adam,
cats.
Adam, have you ever played with Bobby Chavez in the LA Mambo All Stars big band?
No.
Yeah, that's a fun one. That's pretty straight ahead traditional Latin big band. You know, with I think there's two percussionists usually, and the drum set player is essentially just another percussionist. You know what I mean? It's one of
Yeah.
those things, but it's all legit and it sounds great. They
Man,
play at the Lighthouse every once in a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that stuff. I played in the burrito circuit for a long time, kind of that half salsa, half dance music stuff. I don't know if a white guy could
Gotcha.
call it the burrito circuit or not, but they all did. But I mean, they would just tell me, okay, well, like learn this stuff, and so, I mean, I guess I played it well enough to get the gig. But man, I'm definitely down with learning more about it. Hit me, man. If you're ever going out, Sam, hit me up. I've been in my 10 by 10 shed for too many years now. I should get the
Yeah,
fuck out of here.
absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of like what you would call gringo cats or non-Latin cats out here who are really getting hip into Latin music, and they're doing a lot of Latin gigs. And I'm like, there's one guy, I forget his name. young cat, and I'm like, bro, man, how did you get so good at Latin? He goes like, oh man, the piano player called me up, and he just said we just started rehearsing, and he told me to do this and this and that. But they also immerse themselves in the music later on.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing to get into, like you know.
There's a guy out here. His name is Mark Lamson, and he's like he's the teacher's teacher. You know, like he's the dude that, and he's a white dude, and he is like the Cuban dudes out here are like, if you want to know about the music, they're like, we grew up in this music, but he's the one who studied it. Ask him. You know, and he's the same. He's the same with Brazilian music too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Ravi Amin is an Armenian dude. So
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, that's funny. I thought he was Latin. That's funny. I thought he was Puerto Rican.
But you know what's funny, man, is like a lot of the rhythms, they're world music rhythms, you know. So a lot of the rhythms are shared in other cultures too, you know. It's just so far fetched if you're like a rock drummer, you know. Or like, but I noticed that like, you know, like reggaeton and like dance hall are very similar, and like, you know, it's like two different islands, you know, and like a lot of that kind of, there's a lot of African roots in Puerto Rican music, and then also Jamaican music, and like so
if you go to Puerto Rico, they have this thing called bomba.
Yeah,
and it's just really cool. Bomba en plena, that's what they call it, but it's traditionally pretty much just percussion and vocals. But the bomba part it's like a bomb. It's literally the dancers are the ones dictating the rhythms and the beats. It's really cool. They do the dances, and they do like a thing, and the drummer is paying attention, and if the dancer does this, the drummer will put up. It's so cool, man.
Man, see, that's the stuff I wish I could get into, you know, like I was younger.
The live accompaniment.
And for Adam, like you talk about milliseconds and stuff like that. These guys are so in sync with the dancers that it looks like it's like they predetermined. It's like this was choreographed already. Right. But no, they're just so into it that they can get it without flamming. Or like
I've been thinking a lot about reaction. Like reaction time. I was watching this special on a boxer who has the fastest reaction time. They show in slow motion the punch starts, and within like 2 milliseconds the guy is already like moving to avoid it. And it's like, how do you develop that as a boxer or as a musician? Like, you know, playing jazz, like, okay, you hear the soloist do something, and how do you convert your reaction time to what you do to musically react? Yeah,
it's also like, I've seen that in a lot of sports. Like, I always talk about motocross, but like the start for motocross is like that, where it's like reactionary. Like they'll drop, like for practice, they'll drop a rock, and before the rock even hits the ground, the guy's gone, you know. And like it's like how the gate drops for them. They're focused on it, and if it flinches, they are like dump the clutch and go. And I've seen that like in music too, you know, where especially when you work with there's more going on. Like if you work with a bass player regularly, or you work with a guitar player regularly, there's like brain waves where you just know their patterns and you learn them, and then you're able to react. I had this band that I was touring with, I had that so deep with the guitar player where we were just locked, man. Like for every accent thing he would do, I was like right there, and but we spent like 9 years touring, you know. And so, man, it's
that's the real shit, man. That's what it's all about for me, is like that unspoken communication when you're just literally, like you said, you're sharing brainwaves, and you both have the same idea at the same time, and you share that look across the stage. There's nothing that's like more like vindicating and like satisfying than like, yes.
That's something that like not everybody gets to experience, you know. Like my wife doesn't get to experience that because she's not a musician, and that's one of the beautiful things that I love about music, is like that's a whole nother level of like, you know, an intimate relationship or like a intimate conversation that you're having. It's on another level, you know. When
absolutely
vibe with somebody.
Yeah, man. I've growing up, I played with my little brother, he's a phenomenal multi-instrumentalist. He started bass, saxophone, whatever you put in front of him, he'll do it. And then I have another friend who plays bass, and a couple other cats that I played growing up in church playing with these guys. We started like a collaborative. We call it the Cupcakes. because we're pretty, we're too sweet and stuff for that. But it was kind of like, it was based off kind of like the Roots when their heyday, when they were like backing up every other band.
Yeah.
Like they were backing up all these singers and stuff like that. And we were like, man, we're so tight, we can do that. So we started offering our services. Like, we'll be your band if you're a soloist.
Cool.
It doesn't like, we're like, we'll make you sound good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like that. We would like improvise while they're singing their stuff and catch the hits and all this stuff. And it was just really cool stuff. But like you said, it's not a once in a million kind of thing, but it's something you have to work for. I think I like it.
It's amazing too when the more you play, the more you gig, the more you do this stuff, you can like. I find myself like if like there's like I do like agency gigs and stuff like that where you show up, you don't know anybody, but you have to get through the material, and then you take a few songs to like sometimes even a few bars to like kind of catch the vibe of what this bass player is doing, and then you're trying to be ready for it, and it's like that's another like exercise, like another thing, that a muscle that needs to be massaged with practice and stuff like that. But it's like sometimes you can't practice that stuff. You just got to get in the game, and like learn it there. But
you got to get it. Cool. Yeah, that's what I do when I started playing Latin and jazz at this one particular place in Queens. It was a jam session every Sunday. I got into it, got better, so for that, to the point where like now, if I'm there, somebody will be like, hey man, when you're up, let me know. I want to sit in with you, because like because I learned the material and I learned kind of like how they play as well, and I can like not shine over them. So it's really cool stuff like that.
That's great. Yeah. That's great stuff. All right, guys. So nice chops and coffee today.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife about like how like last time like there was a small group, I was like, man, is Chops and Coffee dying? Like, oh man. And then like the rest of the week it was just like normal, so I've like
I think Mondays are just tough.
Yeah, I just have to like also appreciate that like even when it's a small group, it's still really cool, it's like it's just a little bit of a different vibe, and I like it.
Yeah, we just go from instead of a big mug of coffee, you just go to like a nice shot of espresso.
Yes.
Right.
Nice and small, but it's still concentrated. It's
anyways, yeah, if you guys anybody out there streaming with us, there is a lot of people that stream with us that's like I didn't know, and then a lot of people have been like I'm like, yeah man, you should join Chops and Coffee, and they're like, yeah, I already know, I already watch it on Facebook, or whatever. So thank you guys for streaming with us, and if you guys want to join, of course you're welcome to. Just use drumbrigade.com, the Chops and Coffee page. All right, guys. So thank you guys for showing up and being here today. And yeah, we'll see you everyone on Wednesday this week.
All right, you guys. Wednesday it is. See you there.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
later.